How many do we have on? Okay, we can put a few on there.
There is,
It's usually like 8, 7, 6, 7, 8.
there is 5 on. The waiting room is disabled, so you don't have to let people in.
Okay.
They come in automatically.
Alrighty.
And then this one goes next, this one goes back.
Okay, so forward and back, forward and back. Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Maureen.
Just grab me.
Yeah. Perfect. All right, awesome. No one stands? Oh, wonderful, thank you. You come all the time? That's good, that's good.
Okay, thanks.
Thanks, Erin.
Yeah, no worries.
What's this? What section is that?
This is capturing leads by open houses.
Oh, just talking about. I did 2 over the weekend.
Good for you. Good. I'll be calling on you.
Please, yes.
Love it, love it.
Call me if you need help.
Awesome. Thank you.
Oh.
So I guess this is probably it for in class, and everything's up here. So welcome, everyone. Today, we're going to talk about capturing leads with open houses. And we'll go over the benefits of them and some of the best practices, and we'll look at preparing, prospecting, and pursue a model. So make sure I do this right. Oh, good. Let's see here. They always do so many different things they tell us to do, and we skip some of it. A lot. Okay. Let's go over first. Everyone here has done open houses? Yes? And what have we found any real, like, I don't know, challenges with them? Is it really,
One of the challenges that I've found is being able to collect people's information.
Okay.
I'm skeptical about that.
Yep.
Spam,
right?
and people that are going to multiple open houses are meeting multiple realtors, I'm finding as well, like,
Yeah.
you know, when I'm chatting with people, I'm hearing people who like, you know, often they're kind of on the open house circuit, they're like, yeah, you know, I'll mention a club center, I'm like, yeah, or I signed up for 2 or 3 with other bitches. You know,
Okay.
that's-
Yeah, but what I'm hearing is that you're actually looking into seeing how qualified or what they're doing out there. So you're asking questions, so you are, like, you're not wasting time with them, and you're always gonna have those that will lie and say, yeah, I'm working with someone and things like that. There's nothing we can do about that if they don't wanna be, you know, some are tire kickers, they're just out there on a Sunday,
That's right.
they're bored, and let's go look at some open houses, so.
neighbors.
That's right, the nosy neighbors. But, you know, but sometimes also with open houses, you know, we encourage that our people that are gonna do them go out earlier in the week and door knock and give the neighbors the flyers and say, hey, do you wanna pick your neighbor type of thing, right? So you could be getting neighbors because of that. But if you're the one doing it and you didn't do that, then chances are they're nosy neighbors. Yeah, so if you are conducting an open house at a property that is not your listing, you need to ensure that the property, proper agency documents are executed in advance. So you need to talk to the broker or one of the other ones I actually just had to do that. I just did an amendment to my SDBA to add someone in to do an open house this coming Sunday. So yeah, I've not done that because I have a team, so normally I don't have to, but it's far out. My teammates don't want to go down that far. So I'd love another agent that would like to. So that's that's important to remember, that we're getting the right people, even in your case, if you're doing it for other people. You want to make sure that it's nothing you have to do, but to remind that agent, if they want you to do it, to amend it to their SDBA.
And what is that?
Because if they don't have agency, right, they need to be agency to represent that property. So. Okay, so. We always begin with checking in with our mindset. So on day 1, you were introduced to the 6 personal perspectives, specifically to remove your limiting beliefs. but you could always still have some limiting beliefs. So, does anyone here have any limiting beliefs about holding open houses? Any? You guys are all gung ho for it. That's great if you don't. Most will be things like, I don't have a listing to hold an open. And then you have to ask other agents in your market center for the permission. And some are too shy to want to do that, though I am noticing on our Facebook group, people are, hey, I'm available. And I do have some agents that actually have reached out and said, you know, do you need anyone? So it's good. It's about to get our agents to actually not feel bad about asking for one, you know. We don't all have listings. Some are lucky, you know. It seems like it's a lottery win these days to get them, and you know, so you do what you got to do to get out there and get some business. And I don't have any signs yet as another one. You can always ask the market center for that because, you know, there are extra ones here to be able to use. And I may not know the answers to the questions that visitors have. So, you know, you need to prepare in advance and, you know, we'll discuss more about that. And another limiting belief is open houses don't work. I'm sorry. Yeah, open houses won't work. People do look online, you know, but there's always going to be still buyers and neighbors that like to actually walk through a property physically. I know we have taken some of that, made it a little bit easier by doing the 3D walkthrough tours and things like that we're doing through COVID and what have you. So, you know, I think that may have cut back a bit of our open houses. I think we almost got people out of it because of COVID. You really couldn't have them. So people got out of the practice of having them anyways and just going to them as a buyer. And the other one is I won't be safe, which is a very valid point as well. We'll cover that as well today. And, you know, we should consider buddying up if we're doing them, you know, especially in areas we're not familiar with, you know, things like that. So should every open house be held open? Under what circumstances would you not recommend holding an open house? So, you know, the sellers specifically do not agree with it. So let's see, this is, just seems like it's, I just love these. Go back one, I think. All right. Sellers specifically do not agree to have an open house. Some sellers are not agreeable to the decluttering and the cleaning up and sanitizing. So the house does not show well. So, you know, we're not always wanting to make that so prominent. When it's not necessary to show, for example, in a seller's market, when there are immediate multiple offers or houses are being bought, you know, sight unseen. And during times of the pandemic, such as the recent COVID virus. So those would be the, you know, we question whether we do one or not. Yes, dear.
Is it time frame? I noticed, like if you had a listing.
Yep.
And it's a brand new listing. I noticed somebody had a brand new listing, they had an open house that weekend. Or would you have the listing and then test the market for a week or so and then determine whether it's warranted to have an open house?
Well, there's no wrong answer.
Okay, good.
First, really, there's not. Some people, because you know your first 2 weeks is the most hottest time of new listing, right? So you want to get as much action as you can on it. You're throwing the open house out there. It's an extra, you know, color on the websites, really, when everyone sees, you know, on MLS, oh, there's an open house. Plus now you'll see everyone's doing, look, here's all the open houses. So if you're interested in certain areas, you know, maybe they didn't have time to get their email from their collab yet to get that, you know, to know that, you know, that specific one they were maybe looking at is going to come on market too. Like, well, I shouldn't say that, really more of, they didn't get the collab of what came up to them, but yet they may have just went on a website or realtor.ca and actually seen, oh, there's open houses, so I'm going to go see it, but didn't even check their own email because we all know our clients can be slack that way too. And you're like, did you see this one? I think it's perfect for you, you know, so that can be part of it. But there's really no wrong answer to that, Angela. Like, it's whatever you think. If you know you're in a hot area, then probably you wouldn't want to steal that 2-hour window when you could get,
Just, that's right.
you know, agents in there that could sometimes, I'm not gonna say they do a better job, but maybe they have more qualified buyers coming through. right? So that would be the difference. And we know the two main goals for open houses are to sell houses and to generate leads. So sellers to show the house up to lots of potential buyers all at one time gives you high exposure. In some cases, sometimes you can get an open house and get absolutely no one. But at least you're trying, and your sellers are looking like you're trying as well, right? Because, I have one right now. I've had it listed since May, and we've not had one viewing on it. It's just down east, like it's just down east. It's not on the water. They want a specific amount of money for it. We've held, I think, 2 open houses there. I don't think anyone's ever showed up. Like, it's just, that's what I'm saying. It has to do with area too, right? Like, if it's
Right.
not an area,
That's traffic.
I don't like to do them normally in a rural area. I'm okay if it's like Lake Echo, because I do a lot of the eastern shore. But if the farther you go, then you really are just getting the people from that area. And really, they can book anytime. They don't need to go to an open house probably. And really down east, that's what all the ATV rallies are going on. So on Sundays, they're probably not, they're probably not want to look at the houses, right? So for buyers, it's to see houses without obligation, without being qualified to research the homes. And neighbors to see how their home compares to listed homes and the price and condition, so that's a good reason to go around, because if they can see you doing great things, showing homes in their area, and they see you can get it on and off market, well, that's another resume for you. So there are definitely some great reasons and benefits to do them. And for you as the agent, you're capturing the leads of the potential buyers and other sellers and future buyers and sellers. You're going to connect with the neighborhood prior to the event, and you're going to place your signs with your name throughout the neighborhood, and you're going to practice conversations and answer questions and provide value of how that would look. I'll always forget to do this, so I apologize. There we are. Okay, what do you think are some benefits of open houses? Lead gen. And they're reasonably inexpensive to do, right? Like, you can get a couple treats and some water, and it's, you could probably put one on for $20, $30, really, if you don't think you're gonna get a lot of people. I mean, yes, if it's gonna be one of those ones that's gonna smack through, it'll be a little more pricey for you.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, not at all.
I've been finding as well, the more open houses that I'm doing, bringing less and less treats for people,
Yeah,
because
They don't
I'm
touch them.
finding they don't touch it.
Yeah.
And, why waste the money, really?
100%.
And I've started, like, the first few I did, I was getting a big box of coffee, it's important, but of course that only stays hot for so long, and then you don't want to reuse it after, so
Yeah.
I've started bringing it monthly, because.
Yeah, well, if you
people will
don't
take
use
it and
them.
throw it back.
Exactly. So that's what I would always do too, is bottled water. Something else I've always done is I have logoed cookies. So I get them pre-done, and some say like my logo, other ones have like a sold sign. So, or welcome, the door with a welcome on it, things like that. So, if they take them, cool. If they don't, put them back in my freezer. So I keep them frozen, yeah, things like that you could kind of take back and not. But you're right, like if you're doing a fruit tray and vegetable trays, coffee, it's a one time.
Yeah.
If you don't use it, it's a waste, right?
Yeah,
100%.
my thing is, cans of bubbly, and I bring a vase with Lindt chocolates.
Yep, I definitely do that too.
Next open house.
Another thing, we're probably gonna get into it further on, but just thinking about things, a lot of times we'll do up a basket. So we'll have a contest basket, so that's a great way to capture leads, that the chances are they're gonna give you their name and phone number and email, like whatever you ask for, they'll usually give you, if they get a chance to win something. So I'll do up almost like what I do for my closing basket, which will be usually a couple bottles of wine. I have branded glasses, and in those glasses I put Lindt chocolates. I've also done up, which is a good, cute little thing, especially winter time. I've done up lip balm, and that has my logo on it, my name and phone number, through Vistaprint, and it's not too bad for price. But you know, it's just one of those little conversations, you know, it's cold out, don't let your lips get chapped, and they'll be like, oh, and every time they open that up, they'll think of you. So it's little things, a pen, the pen's there when you're signing in. It's another good one, then they can keep the pen. Most would steal the pen anyways, right? Because that's one of those things. I'm sure it's most highly sought after theft, right? It's a pen, right? You look in your attaché cases or your.
Where this one was.
I
from.
know, I have tons, right? Everywhere I go, I'm like, I don't know if I'm a thief or what, but I collect lots. Let me see here. Okay. They're also very useful in prospecting tool for lead generation. It's to meet the buyers and sellers and other agents. And the main thing you invest when you're preparing an open house is your time. The return on investment, which is your ROI, can be tremendous. And you can generate leads, qualify leads, and potentially get, you know, a closed deal on it. And they're important because it gives the participants, you know, opportunities to get their face to face and then to build meaningful relationships with clients, right? What do you think are the most likely leads that you will get from an open house? Okay, and just buyer leads, right, in general. But again, if you walk the neighborhood and you giving out flyers, a hey, come, like, again, that is a great way to try and get a listing lead, you know, because even though maybe it's not your listing specifically, so their name's on the sign, right? So they automatically have more of a shoe in, they're looking at them. But if you're going around saying, hey, I'm the one that's actually doing this and what have you, it does give you, you know, bring your cards, bring a little thing and talk about the property to get those, you know, the neighbors interested. They could very well could want to sell. Okay, again, remember the six personal perspectives, specifically the E to P. With everything we do, it's essential to be purposeful in our mindset and our actions. Before your open house, you know, set a concrete and achievable goal. Tell yourself your goal is to add 6 people to your database, right? And it doesn't feel so overwhelming if you use a smaller number as your goal. I find that you don't feel like I can't do this, you know, stop those limiting beliefs. I don't know if there's anyone talking online. So I apologize if there has been. I see there's one in the chat. Leaflet printed. I use Vista. Yeah, honestly, Angela just said Vistaprint. I use Vistaprint for a lot of things. And you're using Canva. Yeah, but it looks like they may be saying printer with good price except for stable. Honestly, I do my own printing, so I've invested in my own printer in my office. It's an HP. I got it from Costco. It's not, you know, a low end one. It's not, you know, top like they have in big offices, but great quality. And so I've done a lot of my printing, like for my feature packages, and so it's probably a way to cut cost over time, you know. But it depends on how much you do. For me, I do a lot of printing, right? All my feature packages and this kind of stuff. So for me, that's what I would do. Iris, yeah. Okay. Hopefully I've answered your question, Iris. See here. Oh, you're very welcome. Thank you, Angela. If you see anything, that's great. I'm going to leave you in charge. Suppose I should take that back down, right?
I'll tell you if there's a number.
I love you. Thank you. Is that right? Hopefully. All right. Okay, so you set the goals that are achievable and they will require some work. Setting attainable and difficult goals will help maximize your participants' return on the investment. What other goals could be useful to set for yourself before you host an open house?
I think a goal could be script practicing, the
Absolutely.
conversation
Yeah.
I'm having with.
Getting
people.
comfortable.
Yeah.
Yep.
Let's make
true.
that an objective. That, for me, that would be huge.
Yep. And you'll find, like, I think a lot of times, I'm not one of these, like, I can't study a script. My brain just won't work that way that I can look and go, okay. So the other way to script yourself or to make your own script, because you are your own script, no matter what, 24/7, What comes out of your mouth is your script. You don't even realize it, that you start to repeat things. When people ask you about the market and what's going on, do we not normally, because we know what's going on news-wise or what we've researched, we kind of know what that synopsis is and we tell them. And we get better and better every time someone asks us and repeat it. So it's the same type of thing. So with open housing, we can have all kinds of scripts for us. Look at them, get an idea, but make them yours. Not something you've read and just kind of spit it out, because people can see that, people can understand that. So you need to be believing what you're saying and just make it come from you. It doesn't have to be exact what anyone else has written down. And that's huge, because once you can get over that, for me anyways, I find that scripts, that's it. Deer in the headlights, I'm done. I'll stutter and I'm done. So it seems as I have not practiced any of this. You will probably tell that. But at the same time, I'm better off to just talk, right? As long as you have value to give, you'll script yourself. But I've found that over time, it's like, oh, I say that. That's my script, right? So you'll get that. You'll see what's comfortable. You'll feel what is, when someone comes in, how you greet them. And you probably have a couple of variations, because if you have a set that come in the house, you may want to greet a little bit differently so you're not looking too robotic. Right, robotic, right? So, but you'll figure that out. You'll know it's comfortable because you know how you greet people anyways, right? If you were just to meet someone in Walmart, and you happen to talk to them, you wouldn't feel like you're deer in the headlights there. So you kind of think of them that way. You've got something to offer. You have value. You're there for a reason. So you just have to have some confidence in that. The rest will happen. And if you don't have the answer, it's like anytime, even when you go to show a house anyways for somebody, and if you don't have the answer, you're going to say, well, I'm going to check with the agent, right? Like, I'm going to get back to you with that answer.
There's nothing wrong with saying,
I don't know
that's
it.
a great question, I'm not sure how. to
Yeah,
practice it."
exactly,
There's nothing
exactly.
wrong. I used to tell my team that all the time.
Yeah.
And then I started this and I thought, I need to listen to my own.
Yeah, I know, we're so good. That's just it, right? We'll tell other people and then we don't listen to it for ourselves. So be kind to yourself, basically, and don't get too wrapped up in your head. When it comes to knowing the product that you're selling, because that's what we're doing, your agent, let's just say it's not your listing. If it is your listing, you should know everything about it and it shouldn't be a problem. Like, you should know what the heating system is and, do those feature packages up. Make sure if it's your listing that you have a feature package that highlights all of those things and they're easily attainable to you when someone is asking you a question, right? Because there's times I'll go into mine, it's like, well, if I got 5 or 6 listings on the go, and sometimes you're just like, I forgot all the information that I originally inputted to get this up and running, so I need them too, like, all right, so. And like I said, when you're on a team, sometimes they do all the open houses and then you just you're just out there promoting it and trying to get the people to it. So yeah, no, just have a good document in front of you that tells you everything about the property so you can feel confident if they do ask questions. But there'll always be questions that aren't on that bloody sheet. You'll get caught every time. Oh, okay, thank you. I'm helping my little girl to get up. Okay, she just woke up today. Okay, Iris, no problem. This is recorded, so you will be able to get it later. What?
My kids never slept till 9:24.
9:24. So what are some other useful goals other than, practicing a script or, making yourself feel prepared? What would you say is a goal?
Kind of piggybacking on being prepared.
Mhm.
As a new agent, I like being able to do the research to just educate myself or market in general.
Yeah.
Things like heating systems, cooling systems, you really need to get up to speed on that. So
Yeah.
seeing the different kinds that are there and maybe going and checking out the utility room, familiarizing yourself with what different systems look like.
Right. And something else, just when I said, I just remember how I was starting out as a new agent, and it probably goes off open houses, but it's all part of your toolbox of getting yourself prepared and knowing things. So even if you haven't had your own, like, even if you don't have buyers yet, and you should reach out to, if you don't have, like, hopefully you have a mentor. So that can be helpful because then you can ask them, when you're doing your inspections, can I go with you? There's no better knowledge than going during inspections and following that inspector and asking the questions, because that's how you will learn the meat and potatoes of a home and how to answer questions. You will get a wealth of knowledge from that. And then you will feel more confident going into any home, especially even showing it. You'll go to the panel, you'll see if it's a breaker or, you know, how many amps it is, or if it's fused, and, you know, you'll start to know where all your identifiers are on your hot water tanks and oil tanks. So you can kind of be prepared to show that value to your buyers. But again, also to the open house, the same thing. Then you know how to be familiar to your open house, you know? So that is where I think I accredit a lot of my knowledge of gaining speed would be if you're getting into inspections, being out there at the septic and sewer line inspections, asking those questions, learning every little detail about it, so that when it comes time, even when you get, you know, later on, you get listings or you get, you know, the buyers as well, and that information comes back, you have a way to know how to talk to your clients about it. So, page. I was gonna say another goal, I'm trying to think, you said piggyback off of. But, you know, even a goal of like, how many hopefully possible leads you might get out of it. You might wanna hope, you know, have a goal that you're gonna be able to bring something back to the sellers to say, you know, we had some potential, like you wanna make sure you can pull people in with interest and give them back some great feedback about the property. But another one is obtaining feedback would be another goal as well. I think that's important. You know, the sellers have let you into their home to do this, and they think it's all about selling the home. And, you know, unfortunately, it's not just that.
I think the other days they push the arrow keys on the keyboard and it works.
Really?
That doesn't work, yeah. I don't know if we've been here a day when they have.
I know.
Somebody in.
Yeah, do you mind just yelling at Aaron? Do you mind? Sorry. So, okay, picking the house is a crucial step in an open house process. It's important to look for a great and visible location, preferably not more than 3 turns from a major road, which is important. We can't all pick and choose if it's our listing. That's all beautiful in the perfect world. But really, I mean, if our clients want us to do an open house and we need to show them that we are doing everything we can to sell it, again, I have rural ones. You know, I would never normally have an open house, but if that's what they need to see for confidence, it's stuck. Don't know why, but it's stuck. And we tried the arrows as well.
Try it now.
All right, thank you. So what was
What,
it?
did you click on Zoom? Did you check chat or something on Zoom? So then when you click on Zoom, it's
Okay.
trying to flip Zoom, which doesn't. Like,
Oh, so then.
so you just
like-
gotta click back on the
onto the screen.
PowerPoint.
Oh.
Yeah.
Shit, sorry, I won't bug
No,
you
that's
again.
Now you all have.
Right, that's right, there's no excuses for the next one when you're in and they can't do it. You got that one. So once you've chosen the house, they need to get familiar with the neighborhood, obviously, right? And you should already be doing this as part of your strategy to connect with your, with the market. As you prepare for the open house, you should get to know the closest shopping centers, grocery stores, you know, the architect around there, you know, pets, especially pets, anything to do with pets. It's always a good one, you know, dog parks, you know, walking trails, you know, depending on the areas, right? You can kind of tell by areas what they really have and the type of people that are probably drawn to that area. I find so many people are looking for areas, if they're that type, they're into hiking, they want those trails around their back, you know, in their backyard and stuff, right? So you want to know everything there is about it, you know. Churches, I mean, I know, you know, religion's not as big of a, but you'll still, by age demographic, you'll know the ones that are probably interested. So, you know, when you see them come through, not that you should assume, but you can kind of say, hey, you know, there is some. So you just want to know everything there is about the neighborhoods. Especially coffee shops. And they're not, it's not always about picking the most expensive house on the market, or the least expensive. It's just a matter of, you know, as looking for an open house, right? You gotta sell everything out there, and sometimes it might be easier to sell something that's less expensive, especially in this market. That's what's gonna go. And we're definitely having a harder time up in that 600 and above range to get the buyers to them right now. If the goal of an open house is to generate and qualify leads, what other things should we think about before we pick the home for the open house?
For the demographic that might be coming through
Mhm.
based on the neighborhood and.
Yeah.
and features of the house.
Yeah. You're also looking at like how quick things sell in the neighborhood, things like that. Before you host your open house, prepare a list of questions you may be asked and practice your conversation starters. Some questions you might face will test your knowledge of the house and your market. So potential clients might ask why the house is for sale. That's a big one. And we do not tell people unless our sellers have disclosed to us what we can say, why they're selling, we don't. I've got a divorce couple right now. It's not pretty. And that agent, we do have it under offer, and that agent said, oh, just wonder why they're selling this. Yeah, they're ready to move to the next one. They've been in it for 4 or 5 years. But they're looking for that. So what they're looking for is reasons of needing it gone quickly, like a divorce, things like that, or death in the family. And so we only give that away if we're being told we can give that away. Otherwise, it's just, hey, it's time to move on to the next one.
Are we allowed to disclose if people ask, have there been offers or how many offers have you had?
If your client, because they're gonna be your client, right? Because you've signed on if it's not
Right.
yours, and it's only what they disclose. So you would ask
Yeah.
that listing agent, say, look, what can we say? What can't we say? Absolutely, it's what they tell us. They,
Confidential until we have-
absolutely. That's why you're under offer or under the,
Agency.
yeah, agency. It's so you do not, you have to protect them at all costs. Let's see here. Potential, yeah, okay, so they may ask why it's for sale, when the home was last renovated, and if the home has any structural issues, and how long the house has been on the market. Well, most people today, all buyers, you normally have seen how long it's been on the market because they've gone to Realtor.ca, they've gone to Viewpoint or any of the other websites, and it's very much exposed. Depending on that price point, it's easy to say sometimes, it takes about this many months now to sell a home. So we're back to more of a balanced market. They're still trying to say we're sellers, but I think we're pretty much back to balance. Before COVID, this is what it felt like, about a 3-month turnaround on properties. Yeah, so but some stuff, of course, depending on area and that price will go quickly still. So, and structural issues, I mean, really all you can do is go by the property disclosure statement. As far as I'm concerned, really, because it should have been disclosed on that. That's a major one to definitely review to make sure you know all of anything on it, and then the objectives of what they may say because of it. And then you can, be prepared of, especially if you've looked at the property disclosure first and you see there's something, well, maybe there's a way to ask that listing agent, or if it is yours, know what it is, have gotten a quote on it. Have your sellers get a quote on, let's say there's a crack in the foundation and it should be done by Wisecracks. Well, get that. Maybe there's some fog in the windows. There's going to be some people that will pick up on that. Okay. Know what that base price is per window. They're easy. Those are easy ones to find out and to have in your toolbox. So when they say that, well, it costs about, $60 to $70 to have the gas, the pane fixed and what have you, it's about $1,000 to $1,500 depending on the size of the crack. That was before COVID. There's so many of these things. There was during COVID, everything went sky high, but a lot of people were buying, with the OD and doing inspections, so we didn't have to get quotes. So things have gone up now too. So it's always good when we've had shifts like that to go back and get new quotes on things. So you just have that kind of information in your wheelhouse. Do you know of any other questions that visitors may ask at your open houses that you've had before? No one? Questions? Yeah, yeah. So those main ones, hey? So here's something I have done in the past. Well, my teammates have done. Bring a partner with you. Bring a referral partner with you, like a lender, an inspector. There's your buddy system for protection. Plus, you're bringing more knowledge to the table of what you're offering today, especially with those new home buyers. They may not be pre-approved, they may not, but then here's a chance for your lender to get an opportunity in front of someone as well. And that's how you build partnerships, right? But also for your safety. And normally your partnerships who come will be the ones that will offer to bring like coffee and stuff like that. They're willing to, participate in anything like that as well. So that will cut your costs. So just things like that. Have the visitors sign in upon the arrival, right? We all know that. Some agents even make this a requirement stating it is a safety measure, and that is exactly what you say. It's a safety measure. One of my agents here about a month ago went into one, and one of the people refused to do it. She didn't really know how to deal with that, so she texted me and said, you show them the door. Honestly, because if you're not willing for my safety, and let's be honest,
Is it for personal, what's the safety method, like, what's the safety?
safety, well, it's just that if something was to
COVID.
happen,
We got it because we had to be able to identify.
that's right, so we could go back.
Right, so now.
Well,
what's
it's
the
more about, I mean, a lot of people are using an iPad, right? So a lot of people aren't using the hard copy on there. They'll just have them put it in. Well, once it's in, then they can't erase it out, hopefully. So there's less chance of them trying to do something. But at the end of the day, if someone wants to be ingenuous, they're gonna tell you a lie. They're gonna give you a wrong name. I've not had that happen. Anyone that we have had qualify or, we've followed up on, they've answered. So it doesn't, it's not like it was a faulty number or a wrong name or wrong number. You get more of that off your lead sites. People putting in bull, honestly, I gave up those lead sites because I was paying, well, it's probably more like $700 or $800 a month. And have these people just have faulty everything on there, right? It's like, go away, but I do go around, I created my own website, had it all done, paid a good amount of money for it. And now everything I'm getting is for people, hey, let me fix your Instagram, let me do this. Like getting leads right now is crazy. It's like, I don't know how to get that stuff out of there, how to stop that. It's frustrating. So yeah, you want them to sign in, and I do make it a requirement, and that is exactly it. If they're not willing, you're wanting, as a buyer, wanting to come into a stranger's home and be allowed in and go through it. Well, if you're not willing to give me your name and number or email, then you really don't deserve to be there. And how serious are you? Right? Because all they need to, on our sheets, we say, do you have an agent? Are you looking for an agent? Things like that. Are you pre-qualified? We'll put things like that on there. And, they don't have to answer that. But the other trick of that, so I always have two things, the sign-in sheet, and then also the draw for the basket. Chances are they're gonna go for the basket anyway, so even if they don't sign in, you'll know, right? So, especially if they want to win it, they're not gonna lie to you. So that's one of those catch-20, you can catch them in it. You can even ask them to leave something of value with you while they tour the home. Now, I've not ever done that. I don't know how comfortable I'd be, but if you put your keys down here or something, but I mean, really, if it's a safety thing and someone's gonna do something to you and they left you the keys down here and they took you up in a bedroom, like honestly, when they're done with whatever, God forbid they do, they're going back for their keys. I think today it's a good thing almost to say that there's a video surveillance. Even if there's not, I don't know whether that's legally allowed to be said or not, but honestly, I'd probably bring a little baby monitor with me, video, set them up a couple spots. There's a lot less chance that they're gonna,
Plus you could word it in such a way that you're not committing that there is one.
No.
That potentially.
they're
in this day and
potentially,
age,
yeah.
You
yep.
can anticipate there may be one.
And I'll even do with my clients for my listings, if they just have them outside, I will just say that there is. That way they don't know exactly, right? It's just better. It's, people go in there, sometimes not all with the best intentions. Okay, they're saying like car keys or a driver's license. And it's a safety measure. Explain to the participants that setting up a sign-in station allows them to capture leads they can follow up on later. So that's what I'm saying to you, their follow-up leads is what we know. Once you've captured their contact information, you'll have plenty of opportunity to wow them, with your technology and expertise after the event. Reminder that any sign-up mechanism must also include a consent to be contacted in order to be compliant. So, are you okay with me contacting you? If you do not use a sign-in sheet, what are other ways you can capture the contact information of leads that come through your open house?
Well, like you said, a draw.
Yep, yep, a draw. I mean, also like having an iPad set up or a laptop set up, just so it's not maybe so. Tap that in or what have you. But definitely I'd say a draw is the other, really good one.
Feedback,
Beautiful.
they kind of rate things.
I like
There
that.
is that option to capture.
Yeah, right.
Not everybody fills everything out, but. it is-
No, but at least it gets you something, and you can kind of almost tell by what they filled out,
Mhm.
how serious maybe they are, right? If they're really not willing, or like I said, most know now to come in and just say, I have an agent. Whether they have one or not, and they don't want to be bugged, they're gonna say, I have an agent, right? So it's okay. You're off limits to me kind of thing. I can't go any further with you. Enjoy the house. But what I will do is look them at them and say, oh, and who's your agent?
Oh, that's great.
Always, because you'll know then, you'll know really then. And then I'll say, oh, you signed with them. And they're like, well, I haven't signed yet, right? And you'll catch them, because once they're caught kind of in a lie, then you can kind of, then you just learn how to massage that. I understand you're worried that it's too much pressure. It's not. I can explain how I would do things since you're not signed, because then once you know they're not signed, whether they've talked to another agent or not, they're not signed. So you could still explain your process of how you work. And if they were talking to someone else, maybe what you have to offer is better than what that other agent they talked to had. Or there was never any agent, right? So there's more than one way to look at that. Just never be too nervous to talk to them, and just feel them out, ask the questions. So that's probably where I would say, run a list, figure out what makes you comfortable that you can ask, and if the scenarios of how they answer back, you'll know what questions to lead with next. Or where to stop even talking, other than just telling them about the house. But I would also say at the end, make sure you tell so-and-so to give me a call if you're interested, and I can give them any of the information of your questions you have here today. So there's more than one way. And then again, you can dangle that, do they contact? Especially they say, oh, I was really interested. And then and I did do that. So we had clients come by, or sorry, we had buyers come by. And they did say they had a specific agent. So it was my other teammate that was in there who did it. So she told me who it was. She asked the questions. I went to that agent, said, hey, I think a client of yours has been through today at such and such property. Sounds like they had some interest. You may want to check with them. So we just got a first name at first, because she didn't have her sheet in front of her when she told me about this. Oh, I don't know. So then I went back to my agent. She told me all the information. Oh, yes, yes, yes. So he went off. He saw follow up at that. So there really was, in that case, there really was. Now they didn't end up having any more interest, sadly. And they went through the house that day twice. They came in originally themselves, then went home, got the family members as well that would be part of this deal. And they were still all very interested, could see themselves there talking about where everything was going to be set up, but then didn't follow through anymore. So you can get excited, but then it's all right, because the next day I think we got an offer on it, and it was, so it worked out. But I was hoping to get one from the open house, because it isn't, you don't normally get the sales from the open house, sadly. But we need to, give that to our clients for that, so they can feel good that we're doing something to help them. All right, what one are we on? Just so I don't mess up here. Pick the time. The time you choose for the open house is very important. When you know your market well and have connected with it, picking the right time to host the open house could be simple, or should be. They're known to work in any market at all dates and times. So know your market in order to drive the most traffic through your open house. Picking the time of your open house goes hand in hand with picking a theme. If you're having your open house on a Sunday afternoon during football season, know the game scores or have the game on the TV. I don't know. I don't think I want them sitting down really on the couch.
No.
Next thing, but I mean, this is probably Americanized, right? Because it's so
Yeah.
huge down there. I mean, we have lots of, Super Bowl was just this weekend, right? So not that I would know, I don't about halftime.
Well, I think it doesn't start until.
Well, late.
Seven
Yeah,
or eight,
yeah, no, I'm
when-
going to bed by 8 with my dogs. I'm done. But yeah, so, traditionally you see everyone seems to do them Sundays 2 to 4. So I changed it up a bit and would do Sundays 1 to 3. My thought process is come to me first, and then everything else has to compare to me. That way also, everyone doesn't always sit in that window of 2 to 4. And they trying to rush to all the homes that they possibly can. So I've given them a bigger window now. So instead of 2 hours to fit them in, it's 3 hours. It never hurts. Sometimes people do them all weekend, do them Saturday and Sunday, depending, right? If you know you're in a hot area, the more you can drive through, the more traffic, the better it is, better for you, more leads. And, sometimes you might want to test it in the areas, because if you don't know the area, how do we know, right? So maybe I do a Saturday, and I do a Sunday and see which works better. So the following Sunday, if I don't get something, maybe I just choose, narrow in what works, so. I think they were always in the afternoons, all these years, because I think Sunday's church, so mornings are usually for the church. So give them time to get home, have lunch, and then off to do what they want to do to look at homes.
Have you
That's-
figured out what day gets more traffic?
I've not done Saturdays, I'll be honest. I've only done the Sunday and just changed my timing,
We've done both, but Sunday.
It always was.
Yeah.
Sunday was the big day.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, it's the day of rest. So
Yeah,
it
exactly.
seems like Saturday's the day you're going out and you're all your, everything, your grocery shopping for the week, cleaning the house, getting the laundry done, yada, 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 right? And so Sunday is normally, that day you can kind of go out. A lot of people probably put a pot roast whatever in the slow cooker, the crock pot, and off they go for a couple hours, come home and supper's ready for them, right? So absolutely it will be. I wouldn't want to go, if I really wasn't overly serious. And really, if it's cruddy weather, then I'm probably gonna call the agent, an agent or that agent to show it to me, so. All right, like I said, themes, has anyone tried a theme? Yeah, so like, this weekend gone by would have been a great opportunity to do Valentine's and do something with little hearts and, things like that. Maybe give out a little rose to everybody, or the women, or, like, and you could advertise that. So, Easter's coming up, things like that. Not that we're gonna do them right on Easter weekend, because we're not. But you know what I'm saying? Like, so if you kind of surround what's going on in the area, like Groundhog Day, anything, just whatever, golfing season when it's coming up in the spring, give out a pack of golf balls with your logos on them, or you know what I mean? Like with your contact information, just think outside the box. And it doesn't matter if anyone else has done it. If it feels like you can afford to do something like that, what you do, just try something new. Next, if your listings and they start to follow your open houses and how you run them, like those are fun open houses to go to, and they'll talk about you more. Just little things. It's to learn from the individuals that preceded before you. So basically, talk to other agents who've been in this industry as well. And they have other ideas of what they do. Like, I'm not sure what some of the other ones do, but, I'll give you what I do. That's basically it, but I do like a theme, and I think moving forward, that'll be something I want to incorporate a little bit. Whether it be, a Valentine's basket, night out for 2, or, movie night for 2. I mean, that's expensive today. But you could probably do, I don't know, trying to think what you could do there. But even if you did like a win of a gift card, and then those that win the gift card, it'll be popcorn. I don't know, you can do all kinds of things just to think it out. Do you guys think of anything else that you would, now that you're rolling on something like that, a theme? Does anything pop in your mind? The luck of the Irish for March, what I mean? Is this will this be your lucky, at the pot of gold, things like that. Those kind of things are interesting. So Saturday afternoons may conflict with the kids' activities. That's the other one, right? So that Sunday afternoons are a popular time for the open houses. So here's a question. What are the benefits of holding an open house at the same time as other open houses? Well, if they're in the same area, obviously you get a better draw. And I did have an agent reach out to me who said, hey, I've got a couple other agents and myself that are gonna do open houses this weekend. Do you wanna get on to this? And we'll promote all of them at the same time. So, not even on our same brokerage, right? I mean, but it's just good to get that out there, get that word out, and more traction in that area of all those open houses makes for more people want to come through. And of course, price point is important. If you're gonna, hit your wagon with some other ones, you want to be comparable in there, right? So it's more competitive than I've got a $300,000 home here and this person's got a, $750,000 home here. Those aren't the same buyers that are coming through, right? So it's important to match that criteria up as well. And what are the benefits? Okay, so what are the benefits of an open house at non-traditional times, which I would consider my 1 to 3 to be non-traditional? Again, gives more, accessibility for the buyers to get out to all of them. So then the other one would be, if it's 2 to 4, you could do a 3 to 5. People today don't normally traditionally eat too much at 5 o'clock anymore. Okay, next one. Preparing the stats. If you've been practicing connecting with and knowing your market, then gathering the neighborhood stats for your open house will be fast. The local information provided by the school district, employment information, recreation nearby, traffic and commute times. Because everyone always wants to know what the downtown core, getting to Halifax, right? How long is it from Halifax? I want to be 20 minutes away. And if they're from out of town, like say they're from Ontario, and their perspective of timing is so much different. It's like, well, yes, you want to be within an hour's range, but really you were really only probably 10 minutes away from your job, but because of the traffic you're sitting in. So, I tell them like, an hour away here could be way down, well, that's right, Lake Charlotte, things like that. And you're driving. So is it a gas thing? Is it a time thing? What's most important? You want to find those kind of things out because the perspective of that from other areas will definitely determine. What other things might people coming to the open house desire to know about the neighborhoods? Really covered that. Want to know about the schools and the restaurants and all that good stuff. Is there anything else? I guess if you're Cole Harbour, you could say, it's the home of Sidney Crosby, and here's our hockey stars that have, if you can kind of see that. But it's just good to know the little tips and tricks about the area would have, anything about it really. All right. This one, be safe. This is the big one. Agent safety should be a top priority for hosting open houses because there is risk involved in hosting them. Using a buddy system can mean having another person with you at the house. In addition, you should always let someone know when and where you will be. Consider sharing your GPS location with a friend, partner, and even your market center. And yeah, share your location with your phones. Use them for the greater good, right? And keep in contact, texting with whoever that is as well. Say I'm going to check in at this time and what have you.
Well, I think you answered this earlier.
Yeah.
But with the buddy system,
Yep.
the person doesn't have to be licensed real.
No. No. Obviously not, because we can let the lenders in and the inspectors
Right.
as well. You would want to let the sellers know.
Mhm.
I don't remember Anne saying anything that we have to amend to put them in, because I would say not if they're just kind of there, obviously.
Yeah,
I mean,
so
they're not licensed, but as an inspector, I've never thought about asking Anne about inspected, but I guess they're not licensed, so same thing, they can't really go on it as. But we would have to, of course, let the sellers know that this is what we're gonna do today, and we're gonna have other people in your house, just so they're aware. And you can also use that as the safety buddy system as well, like in case, you're feeling uncomfortable with, hey, I'm gonna bring this, because now it looks like I'm doing a sales pitch for myself and what have you. So, hello, Mr. McLeod.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. Are you coming on open houses?
I wish.
If you come in, I'll pull up a chair and you can
Oh,
give
all
your,
right.
run.
He said he's never done.
Yeah.
I was hoping this was Wednesday. I wanted my team to sit in on.
Oh, sorry.
Colton's coming in. I told him, I get him the 30.
I seen him peek and he went right by the little slither. It's taped anyways.
Yeah, partner
Yep, she has a migraine. She just got back from Toronto.
last week.
Yeah, I heard that. It's okay. I'm okay.
You're a ringer. Way better.
Right, bless your heart. All right, so now that my 50-year-old brain is off the. Where was I? Okay, yes, so the safety of it, discussing, letting the seller know that you're going to bring in referral partners, like a mortgage lender. Colton, we were just saying about at open houses for the buddy system for safety. But earlier on, we were already saying, it's a great idea to bring in an inspector with you, or a lender, or anyone that's like that, even a lawyer, right? It helps those buyers out, right? And your safety. And just because you're male, it doesn't make you safe. As there's terrible people out there, no matter if you're a woman or a man. So you have to think just as importantly that you're at risk, and you're better off to have a little bit of nervousness in you and protect yourself, and be prepared, my agent, she has bear spray. I don't know whether that's legal, but she has bear spray and she is not afraid to use it.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, I mean, if someone's gonna come attack me, I'm gonna be ready.
My mother's retired now, he said the same thing.
Yes.
He said,
What's gonna,
share your GPS.
Yep.
And get bear spray.
excellent,
I said,
excellent.
okay.
There you go. So
Fine.
that comes from, someone of authority that says that's what you should be doing, so that's what you should be doing. Never hurts to, if you see someone coming in, to kind of be on the phone, just say, oh, I just got another set of, another set coming through. I'll give you a call in 15 when I'm done with them. So they kind of know. The other thing, if you've watched even at our monthly meetings, the other thing, if you're feeling uncomfortable, pick up your phone, call the office line or the broker line, whatever it is, and say, I need the SLIM file for blah, blah, blah. SLIM is backwards for MLS, and that is our code for safety. So that person knows when you said, I need the SLIM file for 123 Main Street, they then know to give the police a call to get someone there for you at 123 Main Street. So, as long as you're prepared and you've got all that stuff. Watch it. All right, let's see. Yeah. Could you go a bit, detail about pre-open house marketing in the neighborhood, please? When normally a good time to knock doors and tell them the open house, etc. Some tips, thanks. Well, bless your heart. I'll be honest, I have not door knocked ahead of time. But basically you're gonna go with a one line, like a one sheeter, with those highlights, basically. So what you would use to almost advertise, even on Facebook, like I'll do like a 3-picture, few highlights of it, or even on your feature page. Like I do a feature package up for my clients to have in the home. So it's got a cover page. That's what I would go around with, something like that, that just sort of, hey, we're having something. And if you're going around, you want to entice those people. The main trick is, come view the house and help me pick your neighbor. Do you know of anyone that's interested? Who do you do you have friends that are looking in your area? Come on, have a look, tell me what you think and whether you think it would meet their needs and criteria of what they're looking for. And then if you are doing that, then I probably would theme it. And a lot of people will do evening ones where they do like a wine and cheese. So you could do that too. That's another type of open house. It's not obviously the door knock, but you would door knock ahead of time and say, we're going to have this from 6 to 8 and, have an open house with wine and cheese and things like that. So, those are the kind of things. Iris, I hope I answered that for you for not doing them myself. It's unlimited too. There might be more though in here as we go. Let's just see here. All right, where are we? Okay. Using the buddy system. Okay, parking on the street prevents your car from being blocked in. That's no matter what. Even if you're showing a house as the buying agent, you most certainly are going to want to make sure you're never blocked in. Same as opening doors. When you're opening up the lockbox and letting, your clients in if you don't know them, do not take your back to them at any point. Never a stranger do you put your back to. Always keep yourself up against more of a wall so you have a better chance of not being surprised. So when you open the door, let your buyers in. If you're there ahead of time, you can go and you're allowed to go in, make sure the lights are on, what have you, then watch for them. Then when you see them coming, you need to make sure you're in good position if it's a stranger. I mean, if it's your buyers you've had for however long, those concerns aren't really there the way they would be if it was someone new called you up or emailed you and said, I want to see this house. Same as going in, showing rooms in the open house when you're walking. you know, here's the primary suite. Stand back, let them walk in, never go ahead. You know,
Sorry.
no, really, go ahead.
Are there examples or instances of when somebody's safety has been compromised that you know of, like locally around here? Is it something that
No, not that I'm aware of, but I
is more
definitely,
preventative?
it absolutely is, because it only takes once to have your guard down that now you're in for it, right? And I've taken my husband with me, like showing homes on my open houses, but I have done buddy systems for sure on the open house thing, absolutely. But showing homes, yeah, if I think it's somewhere's in a neighborhood, maybe I'm not so comfortable with. And honestly, as a woman, if it's a man, I'm not really feeling the warm vibes, if it was only by email or what have you know, or even talk to them. I will bring someone to be in that car, sitting there in that driveway, not in I won't take them in with me, but they know. And I will wait and say, oh, my husband's just there with me today, we got things to do afterwards or whatever, you know, you just, whatever, right? So they don't feel like they're being profiled as creeps either, right? You don't want them to start feeling uncomfortable, but at the end of the day, you know, you need to protect yourself, no matter what. But that's the thing. Do not put yourself in a vulnerable position. You're vulnerable enough going into the open house and hosting it. You got to make sure the rest of it is always use those, you know, those smarts, right? Know your exits. Make sure, you know how you can get away if you needed to, and, you know, things like that. But you do not want your vehicle blocked, right? Because if someone was thinking, okay, if I come into an open house and your car's in the driveway and they've blocked you, you have less chance of being able to get away from me. It's just things like that, that we don't want to think about humans that way. And we usually give benefit of the doubt, but you're right. At the end of the day, you have to protect your safety. So you're checking the entrances and exits before the open house and have a fully charged cell phone. Agents may be using their cell phones to connect with clients on the app, so a full charge is necessary for that and for the safety. When you show potential client through the house, allow them to walk ahead of you. So exactly what I said. Explain to you guys, what I'm supposed to do here, with their local health guidelines concerning masks. Okay, that's just for COVID, so we don't have to worry about that. Like we discussed when we went over open house conversation starters, it may be useful to start with a partner at your open house. You know, you guys, and if you do, you can kind of lead off each other, right? Takes a little bit of pressure off that you're the one doing everything and saying everything and feeling comfortable. So even with a lender or what have you, you know, this is my lender, and then maybe the lender speaks a little bit, or if it's the lawyer, do you have any questions for the lawyer about how this process works when you get your offer accepted, you know? So what do you think are some other safe practices possibly for, you know, doing an open house? You want to think of anything else that you feel that could be brass knuckles?
I was thinking of getting a gun, and I'm too scared of them.
Right?
I shoot myself in the foot.
Listen, back in the day, when I was married to my first husband, he was into collecting guns, and he got a 22 handgun. It was all legal, of course. So we had this camp way back in the woods, and he's let me, you know.
Did you shoot him?
Yes, accidentally. Do not let me have a gun.
Okay.
I don't even know what happened, but it shot down on the ground. Luckily, it didn't ricochet in the 22. Yep. And he's okay. So we'll just take that back. But I mean, I am a country girl and I can pretty much do anything and shoot guns, but for whatever it was, I guess I didn't realize the safety was off, but, you know, but anyways, yes. So guns, no.
No.
Think of something else besides that. Taser even probably. What's that? Yeah, but even with a buddy system, it doesn't hurt to have some spray. It really doesn't. Even if it's hairspray,
I did was an hour away,
okay?
back in the freaking woods somewhere. I turned and turned and turned.
Like
with
really?
people I
Did you get
never
anyone?
met. And I'm driving out to it thinking, anyways, they were lovely.
Yeah,
you know,
thank
but-
goodness.
But there's always the but. Here
I
I was
know.
in the middle. I didn't even, the cell phone service would.
Yeah. So you are very, very, very
I go
vulnerable.
away from that learning more about safety than anything to do with real
Yeah.
estate.
Yep. Yeah, and you would have been nervous the whole time.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have been an easy sale. Did you get them as buyers?
No, they're actually, I'm showing it for Allison Godson,
Okay.
right? 'Cause she was way over
Yes,
here. and it was
yep,
going this
yep,
way,
yep.
so I said, I went and did it,
Okay, well, bless your heart.
but they almost, and there was multiple bids on it. And you don't know. but I learned a lot.
Yes,
And when you said that about putting your back to them, I had my back to them while I'm
Instinct.
taking the thing off, right?
okay, yes.
And I could have very easily been on the other side of the gate doing the same thing.
So it's learned.
Yeah.
You hope that when you think and you've learned about it, it's not because of something happening. So
Oh,
for you, it
yeah.
opened your eyes and you will become, much
I've
more.
lived here for 60 years and trust everybody.
Yeah.
But.
Yeah.
it's a whole new,
Oh, no,
Bad people.
I'm very trusting, 100%, right? It's like, oh, there's bad people in this world. Okay. All right, where are we now? We are on prepare, prospect, and pursue. So you're preparing your mindset. Remember the goal for your open house is to get appointments with active buyers and sellers. To be at your best and achieve what you've set out for yourself takes preparation. Schedule preparation time during the week before your open house so you can ensure you can capture leads and set appointments. You'll spend more time preparing for the open house than you will be hosting it. So you prepare your mindset beforehand, you set high and achievable goals. Remove limiting beliefs and focus on your success and believe in yourself. Number one, believe in yourself. You're there, listen, you've gone through the worst thing, studying and writing for that bloody exam. Let's be honest, right? I mean, that thing, I still have PTSD and I'm going into year 7. So, it's a lot and I've never gotten over it. It's still traumatizing. So we're all here and we need to pat ourselves on our back that we did it. And, yes, it did not teach us how to be real estate agents, but that was still really, really hard work. The rest of it'll be easy. It's about practice. It's about having confidence. It's all about confidence is what it's about. And I had zilch when I got into this. Like when I was on a team as an assistant starting out, it's all I was. And that assistant said to me, I think you've got what it takes. I want to get you licensed. And I'm like, maybe another year. I wasn't in a year just being her assistant and learning. I'm thinking I should have another year under my belt. It is interesting. Nope, I think you should do it. I'm like, okay. So I took the in-house course, did it, passed on the nose, first time. Thank you. And that was tough. That was tough. At that point, I was, in my 40s, now 52. 51. So, that's a lot. Was out of school for a long time. I haven't had to prepare to study for anything. You guys really need to give yourselves a pat on the back because that's not easy. And the rest of this, you have a support system like you don't have when you're studying on your exam, right? You might get one person that can help or luckily, come see Chad. But when you get here, this whole brokerage is here to help. Every agent on it wants to see you succeed. Nobody's here for failure. Nobody's here as a competition. You can go to the other brokerages and no one will give you any of their advice. I don't know if this happens at another brokerage. I won't say it doesn't, but I just don't know if it does. But we're here to help. Like I've shared my buyer's package with agents. No problem. Here you go. Take it. You've got a template at least. Fill in your own referral partners, fill in your own stuff, update it to you, make it yours and personalize it, but it gives you a starting point. You got to do that. We all want to see you succeed and we all want you to be out there giving a good name to Keller Williams, right? So it's better what you're doing than not. So, be proud of yourself and just believe in yourself. Practice conversations for greeting people, answering questions, and how you're going to capture that contact information. For me, it's like, welcome. Thanks for coming today. Are you looking at many houses? Is this just your first time? Are you just starting your search? Just little things you would say anyways when you meet a new buyer. It's the same type of thing, what you would do when you're getting information on that new buyer. Just think of them each that way. And just, I have a sign-in sheet here today. If you wouldn't mind just, putting down your information. It's a safety thing as well as, my sellers are going to be wanting to know that people came through and, it was valid people that came to look at the house today since they prepared it. You can use all kinds of excuses, right? Excuses or, reasons why, right? Yeah, and you just get used to how you would speak to somebody, think about it like you would talk to anybody. Just keep it very personable. And of course, almost like you're excited for them because it is an exciting process for them. And they're probably scared and nervous. So tap in on those emotions as well. you know, as you're just starting, you must be excited, but you must also be very like nervous, but also, you know, curious about how this all works. And those kind of conversations are what lead, you let them tell you. And then from there, you can see just how much, you know, how qualified they're going to be. And how many appointments would you like to get from your next open house? You know, how many would you like to get? Anyone have an idea what their goal would be setting for that? Oh, you'd like to have 100, bless your heart, 100 out of one open house. Girl. I won't come to your open house because that is a booming place. When I first started, I was still the assistant. So the agent had an open house in Waverly, just a cute little small house. And we had prepared, I don't know how many feature packages and what have you. So I went over, I had them printed, I dropped her off so many. It was like flowing, like literally she had to stop people from coming in the house because it was only her or I there to try and keep an eye on all these people because now they're just rogue, right? So now you have to be like, okay. So it helps to have someone else there as well, just in case for that. But it was insane. And that was before COVID. That was before really multiple offers. And she did get multiple offers in that one. Yeah. Yeah. One of my very first ones when I did become an agent, and this was before COVID again, that was the beginning of what was happening to our market. And I had 3 offers. It was our listing. I had just gotten licensed. The agent was away, my team lead. So I had to look after that, the multiple offers. And we also had a buyer who was interested at the same time. So there was a lot going on. So that's how I jumped into this whole industry, was like all the things you just don't want to see happen at once. But throw yourself into the fire and you'll find out how to be flame retardant and move on from that. So yeah, I mean, appointments are great. You want to get as many as you can out of it, and you definitely want to do follow-up. And follow-up is not meaning I'm going to give you some time because you've already moved on, because now your itch was there on Sunday. So either Sunday evening, you should be doing a follow-up, or Monday morning. Like, you should not let them. And, you know, I have another agent on my team who was in sales, and he basically has been told that from his higher ups, when you're in sales, do not give up until they basically tell you to F off. And if they do not tell you no, or they do not, you know, keep following up. All right, well, I'll check with you, you know, you'll gauge them. But until they've really said no, or I have an agent, that's what stops. That's your stop sign. I have an agent, you know, yep, or no, or I'm not interested, or whatever. Well, maybe you will be. Do you think you will be in the future? Like, find that workaround. Okay, so it's not, you don't think you'll be ready for 6 months. Well, okay, there's a lot of prep for you to be ready in 6 months. What does that mean? What does being ready look like to you in 6 months? So those are the conversations to keep that foot in the door. And then, okay, well, I can set you up. Here's what I always say to people that not really ready, but maybe, well, let's get you educated. Let me put you on my collab center. I've then captured their name and their email and probably their phone number. That way I can educate you over the next 6 months of what the market is doing. We'll put in a, you know, a price range. We'll put in the areas of your interest that you think you would like to buy in. It's no different than talking to any buyer. That's another way to let them get them to give you their information and how to get them started and how to objection handle it. Well, okay, you don't have to be ready now. I'll be here for you if it's 2 years down the road, but let's get you prepared for that. You know, let's get you talking to a lender so that you can understand what your finances look like, and they can help you be prepared for when you can be ready to buy, right? Those are the things you want to, and that shows value, right? That's what shows the value, and also keeping them on the hook because you are interested in them and you want the best for them. You're not just there for the sale, you're there to help them. So, because most people be like, well, if I'm not going to get you money tomorrow, you know, this way you're saying, I'm okay waiting for you for 2 to 3 years or whatever it takes. And I've had ones on there that have rode out my collab center for many, many months, years, and then all of a sudden they're ready. So it does work, and you're just keeping them softly touched. Do you have a question? You've got something that I can see? No? Okay.
So when you do an open house and do you normally go with them when they go through the house in every circumstance?
Should, because you're responsible for that house.
I've been to a couple of houses where they just let them go.
Yep. Yep.
So what do you do when you get a barrage of people?
So that's just it, right? So if you know you're going to be in an area that will probably have that happen, like, if you're in certain areas, you
Plan
know,
for it.
plan for it,
Yeah.
bring people, bring
Yeah.
people. And you're working on a team, and are you on a team?
No.
No, okay. So yeah, in your case it's different, but that would be the case. You'd want to be talking to the listing agent. If
Right.
it's not yours and you don't know, you want to find that out. And if that's the case, it may mean that you need to take others with you. Yeah. Someone that can stay. And how I would probably do it is I'd have that person waiting where the greeting area is. Please have a seat in the living room or what have you, or the rec room, wherever you're gonna sit them. Here's a bottle of water, blah, blah, blah. The showing agent is just going through with another family or couple right now. And as soon as they're done, you'll be next to come through, all right? It's a good way to kind of keep that control, right? And I know we feel bad. We just think everyone should just kind of go through the aisles like the grocery store, but you also have to prepare your sellers to put their stuff away, that they don't want anything to happen. We can't be everywhere, but we are responsible. We literally are responsible. So if it happens, so figure that out, right? That's important to have a game plan in place on that.
How do you go about, getting their information? I know I did nice you now, right? So I'm pretty good at getting the information, but you could read somebody.
If they're lying and put
Yeah,
something down.
yeah.
Well, if they do that, they do that. There is nothing you can do about that. And that's what we were saying, like, we say it's a safety reason, so we need you to sign in. Also, my seller would like to know, that I've had people through today and that I'm doing my job and that I've made sure, because at the end of the day, okay, safety for ourselves, but also safety for the home. If something goes missing, I need to be able to know who was through the house. It's a record, and that's what they need to understand. The other thing you missed because you weren't here, a little basket, a little contest, if it's a theme for Valentine's, it's a theme for Groundhog, whatever, football, maybe you're giving away a football. Whatever it is, just something like that, they're very willing to give you their information if they're gonna win something for free. That's the key, So that's what you think about. Just think outside the box. It's all luring them in, getting the information, but we're gonna use specific things of safety, qualifying and what have you there through it. Same page. Conversations, we've said that. What's this one gonna be? Just seems like I'm on the same page. Okay, remind the participant, okay, you gotta remember the numbers of the market will help to address things clients inquire about that are not on the list. People that come to the open house intend to know community and neighborhood information. Remember, they're buying a lifestyle. So be a community service real estate expert by knowing your market, become familiar with the neighborhood, learn the name of the park down the street and popular restaurants in the area. That's so big because you're gonna be able to say, man, you want the best steak? It's the Micmac Tavern, or you know what I mean? Or we just got a new whatever in town. It is so good. The wings there are off the wall, like what's your favorite food? I bet you I can direct you to something around here. So just have that kind of, information. And that's the stuff. When you're excited, they'll be excited. And that's what you're selling. Not just the home and the property, you're selling the lifestyle. Study the neighborhood history. There could be things about the history that are cool to let them know about. And explore and utilize the KW apps to maximize your lead generation and follow-up. So I think there actually is something through Command you can use for the setup for signing in. Also, the other one is actually, do you want the app? So that when you're looking at homes, you can open your app and see the price and the information on it. That will also give you their information because they've got to set it up. So the app is another great one. Anyone coming through. Again, you're going to always ask first if they have an agent because you're not really going to send your app out to somebody if they have one. But
Again, some-
then they don't have an agent.
They could say like, have, like in mind. but
Yes.
They don't have to sign it.
Okay.
How do you
Just say,
know?
oh, well, first I say, oh, who? They're great. You know what I mean? They're lovely people. Met them, done deals with them, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe, they're not signed. It's a gray area, but they're not signed. So they're still,
You could go to the coach where I love to meet
Of course you can. Of course, it's no different than a listing. You're competing for a listing, you're competing for a buyer. They're the same, they're the same. So if they're not signed and you're sure they're not signed, then yeah, I'd love to sit, have a chat with you. Has your, person you were talking to, have they talked to you about, preparing with a lender? Do you want to talk to a lawyer? I have all of those things I can get, you in front of, people in front of, if you just give the way you do things, sometimes they're like, all right, that person didn't do that for me. If they're friends, they're friends. Chances are they're gonna go with them. Family member, no, they usually cut your throat. Usually family members the first ones to cut you, not you. Yeah. But yeah, so I mean, you just gotta think that way. If they're not signed, they're fair game. But how you approach it, is tenderly, because if it is someone, now, let's be honest, if it's an agent you already know, you're probably not gonna do that, because that's not gonna be good in the industry, right? But you gotta learn how to do it truthfully with some class.
I feel like everybody has different personalities.
Yep.
so, like, you,
It's so true.
You and that person kind of connect in some sort of way, and then you kind of.
It's kind of like, it's exactly it. It's like a relationship you'll build, and building trust is the big thing, right? So if you can build some trust and they haven't signed, even if you don't kind of push yourself at it, just say, you know what, you may have talked to them, here's my card. And maybe when you talk to them, it may not work out, and maybe you feel like it's not the right, I'm here. I'll just be here. You can just do it that way. That's what I probably would do, just to, give them your value. Again, have something there of value, like a buyer's package. Have you all done up the buyer's package yet? So you have things? Good. You?
Yeah.
You're
I got
working on
the
it?
sellers one done.
Okay, you don't have a buyer's package.
Working on the buyer.
Okay, so what do you have more of right now, listers or buyers?
A lot of buyers.
Buyers. So that's where you need to focus, right? Because you want to have that value in front of them. And especially then when you're doing open houses, again, you have more value in front of those ones that aren't signed yet. That's, you have one,
Do I have,
a buyer's package?
I don't, it's something that I'm
Okay.
working on, I know that that's important that.
Yep. So if you guys want, after,
Yes.
email me,
Yes,
and I will send you my buyer's package.
I've been working on it for ages.
Yeah.
It's been in
Well,
my
I'll send you the
Google.
Word document, then you're gonna pick your people. So the first one is about like lenders. So I'll have like probably, I don't know, 5 or 6 lenders. Try and get them from different, but you're gonna have your own contacts. You don't need my contacts. You just need to know, okay, I need a BMO, I need a Scotiabank, I need some different brokers. All that kind of stuff, RBC. You wanna get them all there, and you wanna have a little blurb, like CUA, does specific things. And same with your inspectors, the inspectors you like to use and you're comfortable with, make sure you have good inspectors. But you need to have more than one, because we're giving them options. We're not telling them who to use, because we're only to advise and help. They need to make that decision, because if we just pigeonhole them down one road to pick, one inspector only, and that person ends up being a bad day and misses some stuff, guess who's in trouble, right? So risk management, that's number one. But yes, email me afterwards and I'll send you my buyer's packages, and then you guys can just, put your own logo on the bottom. It's got my logo on it, stuff, but it's all in Word, and you guys can just,
Is that something you created yourself, or did you like invest money in this?
Nope. nope,
There are templates for them.
they're even on command, even in command, you can,
Yeah.
like, right under where you design all your stuff, there's ones there. I have not done a listing one, because my multi is my package. I just go in, I just talk. If I have to compete, then fine, I have to compete. I'm here, this is what I offer you. This is what I'm going to do for you. And if that's not what you're looking for, then I'm not your agent. That's what, you know what I mean? Like, if you go in with confidence, not overconfident, but confident enough that you know what's going on. Even when I go to look at their home originally, now I always make sure I bring some cuts of past properties that have sold in the area, so that where I think that house will be sitting in price point. And I'll just sit there and, like, yeah, this one sold, this looked this many days on market, but it was also at this point of the market, right? So I'm also going to set it up for some expectations of what's going on in our market today. So back in this time, we were selling homes at this, but right now we're now at 3 months or 4 months in this price range, right? Could be up to 6 months. Like, you're definitely going to put perspective on it, so they don't think it's going to sell tomorrow. But when you're honest and upfront, I'm not here to promise you something I can't deliver. I'm going to promise you I'm going to work as hard as I can to get it done for you as quick as possible. Also, when are you looking to move, and blah, 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 right? So you want to get all of that information as well. And that also tells you how to respond when you've asked the right questions.
Would offer that to someone that came from a house that showed.
A buyer's,
a real-
yeah.
an individual.
Yep, you know.
And
No, not really. I mean, especially if they have an agent, absolutely not. That's on that agent. But, you know,
it's a good,
but what I would do in that case, when you have people like that, okay, well, I normally, I give out a buyer's package while I'm here, but you already have an agent, so I'm sure they've done that for you, or they'll give you one. That's what you do. Don't give away your information. Nope, absolutely not. To someone, and then they might say, well, I didn't sign with them. Can I read it over? Then you'll find it's like a truth serum,
what you have.
right? Yeah, so just things like that. So I don't know why they say Keller Mortgage. I don't believe that's here in Canada yet. It's coming, but it's not here yet
I think they just started.
Did they just start? in Ontario. So we'll be a while before it gets here. So you want to brush up on the home buying process. So open houses are great places for first-time home buyers, and they will likely have a lot of questions for you. Again, that's when it's great, because I don't wear more than one hat. I am not the lender, I am not the lawyer, and I'm not the inspector. So I am not giving you, even if they'll ask me what, you know, I guess if they ask you what the interest rate is right now, but we all know that all changes, whether it's variable, you know, locked in for 5 years, blah, 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 you know. We're better off to kind of talk about what we think the market's gonna do, you know? And to download the KW app, that's so important. That's the way to leverage your leads, right? Especially with the first-time home buyers. And in that, I think you can build that app as well to get, I know the old one you could put in all your lenders and lawyers, all that information can go in there too. So that's almost like your buyer's package. So when they're ready, they can go through that. I'm just not sure when they revamped it. I didn't like the new one, I like the old one. I'm a creature of habit, so when I'm comfortable with something and then I had to learn it over again, it was like. Plus, I don't have as many buyers now. I'm pretty heavy listing side, so that doesn't always, just don't use it as much. And you don't you don't have to know everything there is to know about mortgage information, just know enough to get them down the road, like the general interest rates, which is what I said, right? For more specific information, this is where you're bringing your lender, you know, becomes beneficial to you. Something else, I know they said here about walking, I'm probably way behind in mine, so I'm supposed to, yeah, we'll find that, so we'll just la. Prospect, there we go. So build trust and rapport, provide the value and capture information and qualify the leads. If you read the MREA, which is the Millionaire Real Estate, my God, thank you. This is that brain, do not get old. So I tell everybody, do not get old, because all of a sudden it's like looking at the white wall. It has more to give me than the brain inside me. For leads, listings, and leverage. Open houses are all about the leads. So an open house is a great prospecting tool, and that requires mostly time as an investment. Let's look at some of the ways you can use open houses to prospect leads. An important part of the open house is to build trust and rapport with the foot traffic that visits the house. Ways you can do this are greet everyone that comes in the door, even the kids and the dog. Absolutely. And if you can win over the kids, I mean, God, don't let the dogs in the house. Just as that just took a minute to like absorb in the dog. If it's a cute little baby one in their arms, we'll let them in, probably, as long as you know if they're hypoallergenic and you know your clients that you're showing the house for aren't, you know, allergic. That could be a no-no. I've never had anyone bring a dog in.
I was gonna say, you would think most people.
Leave them in the car at home. Yeah, but if it's a really hot day, and I did see that, I'd say, oh my goodness, you know, I'll get you a bowl of water for your dog or something, if they want to stay out on the porch or whatever. So here's the questions you ask them. What brought you here today, right? Just simple as that. And this is all scripting, believe it or not. What brought you here today? Are you looking for a home in this neighborhood, in this, you know, price range? Have you been looking at other houses? And then these all bring conversations. Yeah, I was just up to 222 Main, and it wasn't too bad, but it was a little small. So we thought we'd come down here and look at this one, because it looks like yes, there's more square footage. So that's why it's important to know what's going on and what's being for sale in the in your area, because then if you have to objection handle that, you can say, yeah, this one has more square footage, the lot is bigger, it's got brand new roof, and it also has solar panels, and we're almost at the exact same price. Those extras, would cost this much more, and hey, what a deal compared to. So that's why you're trying to get all that information. And would you like to know more about the market in the neighborhood? What do you like about this house that I may share with others? So yeah, when they're finished, that feedback is important, and that's another conversation to have. You want to have conversations with people. You want to listen more than you talk, unless they're asking you specific questions to tell them. And then when they give you that, also that opportunity to kind of resume yourself of what you can offer them. It's important to meet the clients where they are. If visitors don't seem interested in engaging with you, match that energy and let them be, because they're just not ready for it. And if they're not, they're not. You can bring the horse to water, you can't make them drink or eat the carrot. Okay, during an open house, it's important to demonstrate and provide value. You can do this several ways, and the most obvious is to know your numbers. When you get to the day of the open house, make sure you know your stats, or that that of your team or your market center. So you're boasting about yourself and how many you sell. If you don't have it yet, if you're listing for, or you're showing for someone else, you're gonna use some of their stats if you need to, right? Because you are on their team. If you signed on to their SDBA, you're now part of them. So you can say, we. It's a good way to back it. Know your market stats, how many days the house has been on the market, the price, number of the houses sold in the neighborhood, and for what price. Understand personality types and conversation styles of different people. That's where your KPA comes in hand, not KPA, but your disc. So you can kind of know, those engineer types and the sweet emotional types and all that. And then it's exactly what you're doing. You're kind of blending in to be like them. You're camouflaging with them to match them. That's the type of, response they need to mirror what they are, the type of person they are. So that's important to actually learn how to do that and study that. And did they engage with you when you greeted them? Mirror their behavior and watch their energy and interest levels. What are some things you're able to offer visitors when they come to your open house? A smile, a nice warm greeting. Like I said, you just kind of, those questions I said to you, what brings you here today, things like that. That will prompt the conversations. Here's our sign up sheet. Please enjoy, some Lindt chocolates I put out. Have a lip balm if you like, this cold weather out there. Those are the things you want to get them engaged and say, oh my goodness, this is so nice. And then next thing you know, they're off with their party favors and they're checking out the place. And, and then at the end, do you have any questions for me? What can I help you with about this house? What made you curious? I mean, you mind giving us some feedback? If it wasn't for you, even though it's not for you, let me know. What did you like? What didn't you like? My sellers are really, this is why we're doing this today. There's plenty, okay, hold on a second. Okay, there's lots you can offer to the visitors at the open house. There's a consumer app, the market report, a list of the other homes for sale in the neighborhood. Explain some agents actually host different kinds of raffles during, which, like I said, a little basket or anything. And when we put it on, we don't draw from that day. This basket goes on for a long time. They don't know when we're doing it, right? So it'd be for just a romantic evening with chocolates and wine and what have you, right? So if they don't win, they know there are other people that put their name in the bowl. They just didn't win, but you're capturing. It's more about just getting those names and that stuff in there. Yeah, the goal of the raffle is to capture the lead. All right. Consider partnering with local businesses for a small discount on services as a raffle prize, which is true. You could pull in, if you're in the city and there's a little cute spot, you can pull people in. Hey, yeah, can I give out an appy, a free appy if they, whatever, right? There'll be ones that are yeah, especially this time of year, things are quiet in restaurant businesses and things like that. Even your local pizza, here's for a free slice and pop, and maybe they discount it, you pay so much for it, but they're getting advertisement out there. So it usually is scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. So things like that. Or even, I'm going to come and I'm going to do pizza. I'm going to advertise for you at my open house and I'm going to actually offer pizza. Right? So you would advertise that I'm gonna have great pizza here today with, all that kind of stuff. And yeah, so then you've got that there. So it's a draw to get them in, because anyone gets anything for free, they love it. Right? And then after that, you're also helping that person that, hopefully donated it or gave you a really good cut on it. Just other ideas, right? That's all it is. When you choose to do any kind of contest raffle, keep in mind this warning: contests and other incentives may be prohibited in your jurisdiction by real estate rules and other laws. Consult an attorney to ensure your compliance with all the rules. Yeah, I do that all the time. Just bring your lawyer with you, it's fine. What did you notice during the role play? Oh. Play. Do you guys want to role play?
No.
Good. That's because you don't want to be out of your comfort zone.
Too many times in
Yeah.
life.
Well, like I said, you just need to be you. And no matter what, if you're at an open house, as long as you're prepared, you're gonna know what to say. Really. Yep, be authentic, 1,000,000%, honest, authentic. One of the primary uses of the app, the KW app, is to be able to organize and consolidate lead information. Before, during, and after open houses, make sure you capture information and qualify those leads. There are several ways you can do this. Have the sign-in sheet, customize a landing page in Command, and have it available on an iPad, right? Offer the KW app, ask probing forward questions of who, what, where, when, why, right? Who's buying? What are you looking for? Where do you want to buy? When do you want to buy? And why are you buying or moving? Things like that. Those are the things that prompt, right? Because you're asking for that. That's qualifications, right? Doing those 5 things and doing them well will help to achieve success when hosting open houses. It's just having a plan and play of what you're going to ask each person. Pursue. Remember, the goals of open houses are to generate leads and sell houses. Make sure you follow up and convert leads after an open house so your time investment pays off. It's time to pursue your leads, reconnect with all your visitors. It's good practice after the open house to immediately update your database with contact information, notes, the motivations to them. You just got to have an Excel sheet, and on the side, where are you seeing them at? Even the property that you went to see them, because that's going to be another prompt for you when you're talking to them. Hey, it was so nice seeing you when you came up to my open house at 123 Main Street. Have you had any more thought about it? And, things like that. And then you want to set them up with tags. And of course, they're talking about putting everything in Command as well. I also do an Excel, so I keep my hard copy in the background as well, just in case. And the neighborhoods. Okay, after that, it's time to reconnect with the visitors. Reach out to them and thank them for coming. Ask if they're enjoying the app that you sent them in their search for a new house, and ask if they have any further questions. It's all about answering their questions. That's really what it's about. And if you can provide that, and it gives you that opportunity, if there was something, especially if there was something you couldn't answer for them, and you tried texting the agent or whatever, or if it's your listing, I shouldn't assume that you're just always going into someone else's, but if it's your listing, text the seller if it's something you didn't know about the home and these guys have brought up. And if you can't get it in time, that's also another great way to say, they're away and they're away from their phones. So when they're back, I'll get that information to you and I'll get back to you. Do you mind giving me your cell phone number or your email? So, you know what I mean? You're looking at ways to qualify that information that they're giving you. All right. Okay, remind them for after today's session, look at that. All right, we set up the host to their own open house. Okay, so we went over, let's see here. Open houses, benefit processes, benefits of open houses, and prepare for that. So we prepared, we learned how to prepare for the open house, to be ready to know everything about it, how we prospected the area to get them ready in the area of the neighborhoods, and then pursuing our leads, of course, of anyone that's asked questions and going back at those, and having value at the open house, bringing referral partners to help you with all of that, keeping a buddy system for, your safety. Set the goals of what you're looking to achieve. If you don't, set them higher than what you think you'll even get. It's okay to set high. There's no need to be upset but as long as you set a goal and you're working towards it, so, okay, maybe this time I set it for 5 leads and I only got 3. Well, next time when I do the next open house, I'm gonna go for 6, or 7. And then if I get to 5, well, cool, then I'm getting there. I'm working at becoming better and getting more of it. And that's really what you're trying to do. So this is your call to action today. Execute your plan and jump into your first open house. The best way to learn is to experience it in real life, which is true. The more you do it, practice, it's not about being perfect, and that saying is whatever. We're never gonna be perfect. We just need to practice it until we're comfortable. And yeah, once you do that, the confidence shows and they can believe in you. And when they believe in you, they want you as their agent. And remember those people that you're picking up now as buyers, 3 to 5 years, they're your sellers. And so you want to keep, in good contact with them. Wish them happy birthday, wish them happy anniversary of their home or of their, their relationship. Know about their dog, friend them on Facebook, on social media. That's how you learn a lot about people. And you can infiltrate that off the, put that in your notes, You'll see some people saying, happy gotcha day for my doggy. Well, make sure, oh, you little Prince Charming, just adorable, but that's the crap, but that's the stuff they're into emotionally. That's what you touch me. I say crap, but it's true. That's the stuff you're going to, bond with them on. And then you show them a picture of your little cute Gucci and like things like that, right? So that's it. Any questions?
No, that's good.
Do you feel like you got anything out of it?
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
I was gonna ask you about go back to the buying presentation, right? How long is it? How long will you play? Cause I know that you can be too long, and I know people.
What do you mean, like-
Fans are like,
What do you mean for a buy? Like just when you meet somebody?
yeah, you're gonna get your marketing plan, how you want your business in like the presentation, right?
It's about truth.
Right.
It's about truth. What'll I do for you? I'm gonna set you up on my collab center. I'm going to, notify you when properties come to the market. I'm gonna make sure you're in your budget. I'm not gonna let you look at properties. If you go on some other thing besides what I've sent you, but I'm not gonna let you try and fall in love with something that's outside your price point. You've already started yourself, you just be honest. Be honest. A buyer, like you're just there to help their process be as easy and as fun as possible. Taking some of that stress out of them, telling them you have the right referral partners that are going to be in your back pocket to help. That's what it's all about. I've built a team. It's not just me. I'm gonna get you that house. I'm gonna find you that house, and then I've got all these qualified professionals. They're gonna make sure it's gonna happen. So me as a team, not even on your own, real estate team, just these other referral partners are what important. And that's why it's important to make sure the ones you have in your toolbox are really good. And if they aren't, if they start to, because I've had an inspector I had for like 5 years, he's gone. He's gone. He became a little, say it. But anyways, he's gone. He is, and I, have another one, and I'm very loyal, like to my referral partners. It's hard with the lenders because you can't just be at one. You have to have other ones out there. You can't just give them just one partner. But if they ask you, for your opinion on who they should use, because most will just say, I don't know. Whoever you would normally think is going to say, well, this one's very detailed. They'll walk around with you. They're good with first-time home buyers. So I use Jody Jenkins with Killick Properties. And, I want an inspector that as a buyer, I'm allowed to go, a buying agent, I can get educated from them because that's important. If they're not interested in really talking during the process, then I can't ask you questions. I'm not going to use you because I need that for myself, for my own education. And I'm still learning. I'm going to year 7. I'm still learning. It's, there's always something I didn't know about that type of piping. Like I know about high tech, but now there's another one that's not good. And, if you don't come across it, sometimes you're going to learn about it, of course. Right? But it's just to know these things and to know what to say. And then also when you're there with your inspector and your buyer, you kind of feed off each other. That's another important thing. So, your buyer can be comfortable that answers as well, or you're asking things to prompt that inspector to give those answers to your buyer. So they're staying engaged and they're learning more about their home that they're trying to buy, like let's just say the panel is a 100 amp panel and it's all electric, but your clients are thinking they want a heat pump in there. Well, that's a great time to say to that inspector, is there gonna be enough room on there for what they need? Or what we do, what's the scenario you would have to do? And then they're easy to say, well, either upgrade it to a 200, or, once you have that heat pump, you won't be using these electric heaters anymore. So we can pull these ones and we can double up it, whatever it is, right? Like, but that's the kind of stuff you don't tell them. You ask, you play almost like a devil's advocate. So that's how you kind of do that.
I guess, for like inspectors, I know a lot of them don't do the well septic.
Right,
Or-
they should be two different entities. There's the odd one that I guess could do everything. I think it's a lot, and another thing, it's personal preference or personal opinion on my part, I do not hire inspectors that wear two hats. If you're an inspector plus you can fix it, I don't want you,
Yeah, no.
because now you're selling things, and I've seen it happen in the industry. I'm not comfortable, I feel like I'm stuffing someone's back pocket up, or like helping them, so I want it to be two different things. Like my septic and well people, they'll say, look, this is all we do, we inspect. We can tell you companies that you can go talk to, but you're gonna have to get the quotes and everything else from them. We're only just advising you of what we're finding here. So get another professional in here who can then solidify it and tell you what needs to be done. So. You are very welcome. No, no worries at all. No worries. I totally get it. That's the industry we're in. But yeah, so that's basically, so yeah, you're just basically saying, I'm here for you. I'm gonna try and take the stress off of you as much as possible. I'm here to answer your questions and get you the professionals in front of you so you can feel confident about what you're doing moving forward. You know, there's buyers get pre-qualified and then find out what they're qualified for is not enough.
Like, what I've noticed is like, obviously, I've been in the industry a very long time.
Doesn't
but
matter. You're,
As for like showing homes, like I
Yep.
really try to go through the pre-approval process now before we go look at homes. 'Cause
Yep.
I've wasted my time.
That's 100%. They need to be pre-approved. And that's the opening conversation. Are you pre-approved? Even if they're sellers for me and they're gonna buy, okay, well, have you talked? Because you need to go to your, because I had this happen with my sister-in-law and brother-in-law. They had two homes next to each other on Mount Batten and didn't know which one they wanted to sell, so I CMA'd them both. They chose to sell the one they were literally in and not the other one that was behind them, so they were like, okay, we'll move into that one, we're gonna sell this one, okay? Told them what to do, they never went to the bank, so we get an accepted offer, however many weeks into it. And she's like, just happens to be at the bank machine, and she sees her lender, and she's like, oh, our house is under offer. I go, oh, wow, cool, how much? So she sells, come into my office, goes and looks up, he said, you owe more than what you're selling it for. Why might that be? So here's another thing, this has nothing to do with open houses. You need to know what those people owe for their house, because what has happened, they have borrowed against their house, they've gotten appraisals, and when at the banks, they'll praise you high to give you what you want, and then you're stuck in it.
You know what shocks me about people is how little they know their own financial matters.
Oh, they're just oblivious, as long as I can pay my
I can give
bills.
you every, right to the penny
Well, that's amazing.
of anything.
Yeah, I'm not that good.
I am
But good
able-
for you,
But
good for you that you are.
I know.
And that is something you can help your buyers
Yeah.
and
'Cause
sellers
there's a
with.
difference between pre-approved and pre-qualified.
Exactly.
And
That's
a lot
right.
of people, they don't even understand terminology.
Well, they get on the computer and they go to a TD
Oh,
and they'll say, yeah, you're. Oh, no, no, you're gonna go talk to somebody and give them the paperwork that they're required to
Exactly.
actually tell you what you can. Just because you say you owe that, or you earn this much, and they tell you can buy a house for this much, patooey, they don't know what your debt ratio is, they don't know any of that, right? It's like, there's so many things. So again, that's another thing, Colton, you wanna make sure, like, those are the things, when you can talk with those buzzwords of the importance of what they need to understand to buy a home. So you're not wasting your time.
closing costs, like people have no concept.
Which is the other thing that's also in my buyer's package, there's a spot, and there's a spot for all of the, like, for movers, garbage, all the calls you need to make before you get into your house to set up power and your utilities and
I
all that
remember I
stuff.
bought one house and we're moving in. They
Didn't have power?
move out.
They hadn't moved out.
No, they were off, the husband was off doing something and she comes and she goes, oh, he hasn't moved us out yet. So I remember I called Annette, that was years ago, and next thing all their stuff landed in the front yard.
Wow.
But,
But that's a
here you've sold your house which you also, your sellers have to be aware of what they need to do.
Exactly.
And-
Same thing, turning off the utilities
Right,
and,
that concept of, well, I probably should move on. Yeah.
I just thought I could collect the money. So I mean, yeah, so that's one of those rare cases that, but a lot of the times it's people leaving garbage behind and stuff they don't want left. So, you know, as a buying agent, you want to make sure that you've written in the proper things of, you know, seller to remove all garbage, all their
Yeah.
property, don't leave anything
That's right.
inside or out. Yes, but you want to have it written in, because your pre-closing is basically saying, oh, I put that in there. You know, if you forgot to ask for the remote control to the whatever, the garage door or the heat pump, it's on you. You know, they can't work it, and and sometimes sellers are mean. Another one that's very important, if you see TVs on the wall, and you're not asking for TV, but you want the bracket because it's in there and you know how big those bloody holes are.
Yeah.
You need to make sure that you don't just ask for the bracket that's attached to the wall. You need the bracket that's
On the
actually on the
TV.
TV, because that bracket's no longer good without that other piece that hooks to the TV. So those are the little things, so that's, if you, they're not always gonna be there, so if you don't have a lot of repetitiveness, you can forget. I always ask for the bathroom mirrors, I ask for all the window coverings and associated hardware. You're supposed to- Right. Did everyone else leave?
How successful are you with window coverings?
Always,
Really, do they do anything with the price when they're leaving window coverings?
no. I tell my, as a seller, I tell
Or are
them
you talking blinds?
all of it.
All of it?
All of it. Normally, whatever's on those windows are normally custom
Yes.
for heights and widths, so they're not gonna fit the next home that those people are going to. But sometimes there are reasons why they have what they have on there, and it can be, you know, emotional to them. So I say, anything in this house you do not want buyers to see and ask for, you need to take it and remove it. You love those, they were expensive blinds, then you need to take those down, either have none, fill the holes and what have you, or put something else up that they can have. Yeah. Oh yeah, you gotta prepare those guys, like, because they don't think about it either. Same as taking all of your personal pictures off the walls, so no one knows who you are. There's nothing worse than walking through with buyers. And they're like,
Oh, I know.
I went to school with
Yeah.
her. Oh, is this her parents or her grandparents? Says, oh yeah, I heard they were going through a door. Like, you don't want that. They're out of focus.
So you just take the top wall and leave like the.
I-
mirrors there?
Well, if I was listing,
Yeah, right.
yeah. I would tell them to take them down.
Just curious, since we have everything on all.
Yep, yep.
So
No.
take it down and just like.
Put a piece of art up,
Whatever. it's needed.
Just something nice to put there. You can leave some, whatever, non-generic.
Well, you'll sell it anyways, you're gonna have to pack them.
Right?
Yeah.
That's right. You're gonna pack it anyways, but it's just, that I've really watched and seen that, even like, there was a condo I went into one time and this couple were looking, they came up from no, they lived up here, but they had a place, they're gonna move to Cape Breton. Anyways, went into this condo, went into one of the where the office was, and up on was this plaque. And it was one of the RCMP officers that was involved in some major shooting out in Saskatchewan. I think it might have been the pig farm one.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And then she got some high, whatever, for being part of that, this
Wow.
RCMP officer, that was the seller. So then that's what they're talking about, and that's what they're focused on. They've totally lost focus of why they're there. You're wasting my time and your own and the sellers for prepping this place, and you're more concerned about whatever she's gotten accommodations, right? Whatever, so. Yeah, it's very important, and it's important when you as a buying agent bringing people through to keep them on task of
Yeah.
what they're really there for. And watching for the signs of how interested they are. They want to sit down. If you feel they're interested, sometimes it's good for you to just have a little seat on the chair in the living room, see if they'll sit down with you, if you've blocked out enough time. That gauges how much interest they have, because they don't sit with you, chances are they're not interested in that house. COVID was really eye-opening, right? Because everything was a competition.
Yeah.
So you'd get a 15-minute speed dating,
Yeah.
right? And then you come out and they'd be like, okay, how much do I have to offer? I'm like, did ya like it? Because you're asking how much you're gonna pay over for it, because
Yeah.
you're gonna be regretting this if you are just throwing money at, but they just got into that. It was like a domino effect. This is what I gotta do. No, 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 don't come from desperation. I don't care what's on the market, what's not. We're gonna get you a home, but it's gotta be one you're gonna love. Because if we can't sell it for you afterwards because you overpaid for it.
That's right.
I mean, luckily our market has definitely shifted, that we finally got enough of all those sales that we can start, you know, using this for your CMAs and what have you, but it's challenging. But you had to really, you always have to remember you were there and you have to read your buyers and make sure that you're working at their best interest. So you have to have a gut instinct after knowing them of, does it really, like, you know, if they've got so many that are, they have to have their boxes to be checked off and they're really not, and they're thinking about offering.
See, I find it hard, having lived here my whole life.
Yeah.
When I see a property over in North End Road, and I knew what it was like then, and I know what it's like now in certain areas, and I
Mhm.
see the property, and I hear they had all mass people go through it, so I would have trouble putting a buyer into a property in that neighborhood.
So I get where you're coming from, and I was always like that. And COVID once again has changed all of that. So what ended up happening, I found with the North End, a lot of it ends up being ethnicity changes of who lives there. You have to remember those people, in a lot of cases, have come from countries
Exactly.
and areas that this is a nice little walk in the
Far worse.
park, much worse. So they're like,
So
this is
again,
nothing.
It's knowing your client.
It's knowing your clientele, knowing, you know, obviously, yes, people like you and me, honestly.
Knowing, oh my God.
Yeah,
we're
I
not
wouldn't want to live
paying
there. I'm
that.
scared to death. And
Yeah.
that's right. And scared to death to live there. 1,000,000%. They're not. And they're also what is cleaning up the north end of Dartmouth and those other areas that are like
Such
that.
an awesome place.
Yeah.
It truly was.
Yes, but that's nice to see that you're seeing developments now. You're seeing, you know, their mosques and their churches and what have you there, and they're becoming community. Still bad because that was also where your low rent and what have you was for people that could afford. I sold at least 2 on Pinecrest,
Right,
elderly
live
people.
right around the-
Yeah, and I had one guy, he showed it and he left, and I didn't know because my buyer's son went down, he always checked because it was vacant, they already moved out. And he goes, house was left, doors opened and unlocked,
Wow.
no key in the lockbox and lockbox wide open, and everything's just wide open front and back.
No.
Um,
Oh.
it's a Sunday, I'm down in New Ross, enjoying my time. Looking who was there, that person got ripped apart, and then I also
It's
called.
that perfect.
Yeah.
It's perfect. Let's just change my mindset.
Yep, and that's what you have to do. You have to look at things, because, you know, it's affordability.
Yeah.
So, but all we can do is be honest and say, yeah, this is a rougher neighborhood. If you're okay with that, you know, the crime rate, you look at the crime rate.
Yeah.
And this street up here on Jackson's really bad, or this part of Jackson's bad, and this one's not so bad. If you're down this area, this isn't as bad. Like, you need to be able to explain that to them, you know. we
That's
do.
what I was gonna ask you
Honesty.
earlier when you said questions people will ask. Does anybody ever ask the crime rate in the neighborhood?
Possibly the odd person, the high D, probably, more than likely.
Yeah.
Or the emotional person too, I guess, but, I mean, it's, we tough, are we doing open houses in those areas? I don't know. I don't know if I'd want to do an open house in that
They
area,
did a couple weeks ago,
Yeah.
had 38.
well, because it's affordable living, but do you need to have it? There's 2 ways of looking
Exactly.
at that. I don't know if I'd want, if I know it's gonna be I don't think I put my effort there, and the people coming in,
I
yes,
don't
we
think
need
I
to have
want them all
sales.
Going through my house.
I just don't think I'd want to be there safety wise, I'd need more people.
Right.
Yeah. So there's ways of looking at that. I guess we're circling back to open houses. Is there anyone here, if there's anyone left online, that has any questions?
Where's the little check?
I can't see, I think we might have all left. Oh,
Oh, no, no, they're still
they're
there.
still right
maybe.
there. So does anyone online have any questions? And I apologize because I know, you know, I haven't reached out to you guys much, but I'd hope that maybe you'd come off and talk if there's anything you needed to say or ask. All right, well, we're gonna, hold on.
Yeah, who do we have? No, that's.
No, that's great session. Okay, that's wonderful, Iris. Thank you for your participation, and thank you everyone online and in person who, you're very welcome. I'm glad I was able to do this.
Yeah, thank you.
Email me. You guys have my email?
Oh, yes, we will do.
Wonderful.
I will do.
You have mine too?
You've already.
Love you guys. Okay, and I will send out, and anyone online as well, if you're,
Does it come in a
You're
sparkle
welcome, Laura.
version?
no, well, maybe my logo might be sparkly. It might be my logo, sparkly logo. You're very welcome. Reach out if anyone needs a buyer's package and you want to see mine, I can email it to you. My email is maureen@fergusonhomesales.com. All right, see everyone.
Thanks, Maureen.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
Stop the share.